Let me say a pleasant good morning to our listening and viewing audience this morning, the world listening to Classic Radio GBN TV. How's everyone doing this morning? It's to the point. It's Thursday, the 9th of January, 2025. I'm your host, GT, this morning, and you know it's our first program, of course, with the RGPF this morning. And we have the community policing, of course, coordinator with us this morning. That's, of course, ASP Desmond Richard with us this morning. ASP, good morning and welcome to the program. How are you this morning, sir? Should I say Happy New Year, everything in between also?
Good morning, GT. Happy New Year to you too, and good morning to the listening public and the diaspora across the world. It's my pleasure for me to be here this morning with you and to be discussing this important topic. As you say, it's the number one pillar. Yeah. It's in the RGPF, strategic pillar within the RGPF now, and we are going all guns blazing to ensure it becomes more formalized and more integral part of the entire nation drive towards a safer and a more secure community.
All right, we're talking community policing this morning, and of course the agenda for 2025. Before we get into the direct, of course, gist of the conversation this morning, how important is community policing for the RGPF?
Well, it is. I like to put it this way: it's beyond important. It is critical to us. In fact, as I mentioned yesterday, the old way of policing, traditional policing, it no longer works. Not that you can eradicate it altogether, but that means when we used to sit, hide behind a pole waiting to see if a busman or somebody will make a mistake and, go and arrest them and those things, we recognize though, while, there are crime and arrest is necessary. But what we found is that if we don't deal with the root cause, we're going to always have spillovers in crime and violence and those things. So community policing, as the definition says, it's a philosophy that promotes organizational strategies. That supports the systematic use of partnership and problem-solving techniques to proactively address immediate conditions that give rise to public safety issues, such as crime, social disorder, and also the fear of crime. That simply means that we are partnering with the public, the entire public, and I mean the entire public, to have a nation that is safe and secure for all. 3 words comes out of it: partnership.
Yes.
Community partnership. The police cannot, in no way across the world, solve crime and keep a nation safe without the involvement of the public. And so community policing allows us to not just tell the public what to do and what the law says, but involve them in the decision making in terms of problem solving. Because you realize that from where we sit, you don't know everything. No one knows everything.
So true. Not even
the
police.
Real police is not. We are the custodian of the law, yes. Yeah. But the real police is the public.
Yeah.
We have to wait for you to call us or give us some information. But you are in the information market every day. Every day you pass, you see something, you hear something.
A crime has to be committed for a police to attend to it.
That's it.
You understand?
So what it does, it helps us to look at trends as well.
Yeah.
Where things are leading. And so you get to the community, you discuss matters with them, whether it's a community walkthrough or your public consultation that we call town hall meetings, and just the regular engagement to hear from them, hear what are the concerns. Yeah. And in fact, hear how the police is also reacting to them or how they are treated with the police. And so, as I said before, and there's in the law down, but the public is also we are responsible to you, and of course you're supposed to criticize us as well, constructively so. When you see something that is not going as it's supposed to be for a police officer, you let the hierarchies know, you let us know so we can correct that issue, and so that we can become more customer friendly, as we say.
All right.
Years ago, when we heard that word in the police was about customer service.
No, that was different. It used to be the other way around, right?
Yeah.
You would say the public is a customer to the police.
Now it's a massive thing for us, our customer service approach and how we deal with those things, so that we can build the camaraderie, build that collaborative effort in terms of ensuring that our nation, Grenada, and all our communities continue to have that little peace and tranquility. I'm
sensing a strong word that you made, approach. It's and I'm sensing the approach from 2024. Sorry,
right.
It was one. There are many elements of it that may have worked. Yes. 2025 is here now, and you're looking at a completely different approach. Mm-hmm. What is that approach that's going to be totally different in 2025 from the community policing?
I would not say so much.
I mean, you may not want to give the entire details about it, but that approach that you intend to throw towards the public.
I wouldn't say it's different so much, but it's to build on what the foundation that we have laid.
Okay.
You would realize some way, we started it a long time ago, it died off for a while, and we realized from the commission and executive, we have to get back there. So this is not just a station initiative, this is the commission, this is the whole RGPF center pillar, the middle pillar in which we build everything else, which we send all our tentacles in terms of dealing with crimes. And so we have already started the work in terms of our engagements, our meetings, meeting with the schools, and in fact, this year we're going to broaden that because we realize we used to deal with the secondary schools and sometimes the primary schools. Now we have gone down to the kindergarten. And as I made mention, I remember a quote from former General Colin Powell, that said, if you're going to change the direction of a moving train, you must go ahead and change the tracks. So the point of it is, if we look at the trends, what happened to the youth now, we believe if we can get to work with the parents, not in isolation, with the parents and the community, with those young children from the kindergarten, we can change mindsets and make these persons become more, so that when they become adults, we become old men. The question is, what kind of society we want?
What have you created in terms of what have you created that will trickle down to the younger folks being able to make a difference?
We are going that low to ensure that we work with the parents. And as I told some parents some time ago in a forum, we are not here. When I was growing up, we were made to kind of fear the police. We don't want children to fear the police. Respect is what we want.
Yes.
And a listening ear to help bring you up, to help create the doctors that they are, the government, the politicians that they are, the policemen that they are, the preachers that they are. Whatever career, profession God has placed in them, we want to help build that. So we are asking parents to join with us, because that's one of the resistance we've had from some. To join with us to help build your children and grow your children to become productive members of society later, that you yourself in your old age can relax and say, but I'm not afraid to go out on the street or walk out of the road because there's some gun crimes or some bad thing are happening in some of our nation, in some of our islands around us, where some communities police had to almost ask criminal permission to go in. We can't allow that happen in Grenada. So community policing, and that's why when you're talking community policing and partnership, you're talking building trust, mutual trust. You trust us, we trust you. Yes? And I want to say this, because sometimes when we talk that we see only the people we deem as the decent people of the community society.
Yeah.
But I want to say the guys on the block and the girls on the block, they are equally important in this effort, because something got them there. And so that's why we are not persons to judge or to criticize people. Get sitting with them, because that is one of the things we'll be doing. Going and sit with them, taking away this
having that one-on-one conversation with
police clothes, makes you look as if as an enforcement, and have a more civil conversation with those guys on the block, because I have done it, and I have learned some things from these guys that changed my whole perspective of them, and sometimes their behavior and my approach towards them, because I realize as much as you see them there have a lot of them that are crying out for attention and for some help in one way or the other, but who is listening? So community policing helps us also to get down to the trenches.
All right.
And to talk to these guys and see, and then we now can go with them, of course, and the wider stakeholders. This is what we picked up on the ground. This is what we feel is happening. How can we collectively, what plans can we put in place to help them become better and to change their mindset in terms of where they are at this time?
Let me also ask you this, because you spoke a lot about the community policing, some of the methods that you have implemented and have. Has it worked? My simple question to this now: has it worked over the years? The police, community policing that has has been thrown out there. Have you seen it worked in any way at all? Is there some things, a lot more to development that need to take place in it? Has it worked?
There is a lot more development to take place, but I can tell you this: we have seen it work. We have seen some positive movement.
Yes.
In fact, we believe while we have not collated the data yet to really speak, more forcefully to that, but we believe that one of the reasons why we did not see the kind of robberies that we saw in 2023 and time, everybody was scared. Businesses were calling for police every minute. They wanted security. We did not hear that and see that this year. The fear of crime seems to have almost disappeared, even though we had a couple, homicides, and we believe it's because of the same community policing drive, because we were on the ground. I mean, police has been on the ground 2024.
Yes.
Not arresting and looking, searching for drugs, but having dialogues with community.
That presence, you would say.
Yes,
that presence.
more. And that allowed us to pick up some very important information and why certain things are happening, why this behavior, and we were able to collectively with other stakeholders, with CPA or social development or whatever government ministry or whoever it is that we believe based on what we pick up has a voice to address them. And so we want to, at this point, I'll do it again at the end, really thank the public, because I can sit here and maybe make a boast about our solvent rate and our this and that, but let me say this: we will have none of this if we don't have cooperation from people, or have very little. So it would be really remiss of me if I do not really recognize the general public. Yes, you're going to have people who want to give out problems, but the general public for their cooperation with the police in 2024, and we're looking forward for even deepening that and deepening our understanding of each other, why we do what we do, why you do what you do, and how we can collectively address social ills within our nation.
The benefits that has derived from it, especially for the police, yourself, the police departments, and the community, the benefits of community policing. Talk to me a wee bit about what are some of those key benefits that has derived from, of course, community policing and you just being there with the community and having those discussions that you said. You said it has changed your whole perspective about individuals by you just sitting and having that communication with them.
That's it.
Tell us the benefits that we see have derived from.
So there's a lot of benefits that can derive from community policing. Number one is improvement of public safety.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, that the nation and the community understand. You have to be able to take, and we'll help you, take responsibility for your own safety and security.
Yeah.
So when we're doing things like target hardening, meaning we're advising people how to ensure that the houses are secure, the businesses are secure, their lives are secure. That when you take on board the advice that we give, you are taking responsibility. You're putting things in measures in place, because in the crime triangle, I talk about ability and opportunity and desire. The only one we have really control is the opportunity. If you reduce the opportunity, then even if they have the desire or the ability, then because they have no opportunity, they can't perform the crime.
It is void for some reason.
That is it. You see? And so the public safety is a critical one, and that is the whole mark of everything, that we be safe. The other thing that you get out of it is better relationship between the police and the community. Of course, if we can sit and talk with you like that, you realize we are not no big bad wolf. We are just people just like you, just with the responsibility of ensuring that our nation remains safe, both internally and externally. From external elements, you would realize that last year we had some of the six gang in Trinidad and the 7 trying to infiltrate, and they are doing that across the region because they are looking for tough, trying to control tough. And of course, one has to understand, and as I asked somebody yesterday, what kind of society do you want to live in tomorrow? When, as I said, when we get older,
feel out today to be deteriorated
that is
to a point.
So it's not just about the police doing it. The police can't do it without him.
Yeah.
So when you come together and you build that relationship that we can discuss and we can talk, and let me say that only, it's not snitching. Because listen, if you fail, for example, in the neighborhood watch that we have organized and we continue to build on, you're home, JT, during the day, and you're home, you're minding your business, but you're looking around. Because remember, Grenada is not the Grenada 20 years ago. It might be the same size in terms of island space, but in terms of culture and the wider ethnicity and all these things, we are worldwide. In fact, I am the focal point person on the OECS platform for major event security in Grenada.
Yes.
And we had a conference in Trinidad earlier on this year. And when I asked, I had to do a presentation, and when I asked for tourism and Spice Mass for some information, I realized on the document they sent to me, 41 nations.
Yes.
Foreigners participate in Carnival. That's 41 nations. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So you understand what we're talking, and so when you look at it that way, and then you see what is happening around us in terms of crime. It is critical that we decide, every single person individually decide we will not allow this to happen to Grenada. You see?
Yeah.
And if every person decides that, what happens is that we come together. And so when you see a strange person maybe entering somebody else's person in the community, you alert the police. It might be a legitimate person, but just for security's sake, and we check it out. We can say, okay, this one is safe. I remember working in St. David one time, and we got a call. We got 2 calls. The first one was to say that some fisher folks saw some guy badly beaten in Latin Bay. Yeah. The second one was from Baylai saying we see a strange person passing through the village. They gave it a share. We didn't need who is calling. We didn't want the name. All we wanted was the information. And really thank God for the individual that called, because then we were able to intercept Vincentian, who we believe were one of the persons that committed crime or killed the guy up there. So you see how important it is to when you have these relationships. What happens? Not only you're stopping crime from within, but from that coming from external forces. Right. So that is important. The other thing that we see is you see more effective policing, because now you're understanding issue. You're not going and just grab a man and okay, I can handle. I tired myself. I have my own stress. No. You're understanding the issue. You're forming better solutions to deal with it, and of course, you must have better effect when you're operating that way. The other aspect that I would want to mention quickly is problem solving, and that is the real crux of community policing. Proactive measures for problem solving. So problem solving, community policing can identify and address specific issues affecting communities, such as drug-related crime, whether it's graffitis to send certain messages, and we deal with that. Empowering the community. It is one thing to go and trying to do everything, but when your community is empowered, and as I said before, take responsibility. When you have a strong community, what happens to crime? Crime shifts. Yes. Because now, if let's say you're living in Library, and you alone want to fight with some fellas, well, they will attack you, they're going to attack you. Yeah. But if a community say, we do not want this crime, we don't want violence, we don't want stealing, and they know that, what happens, they realize they can't fight the community. So you see, so they shift. But if every community said, this is what we're going to do, then where do you go? Yeah. So you're like you box them in, and in that way you will have a safer community, because what do you do? Yeah. You see, the other thing is decentralizing decision making, and as I said earlier on, we are not sitting in headquarters in our stations and our departments, or even the commissioner in headquarters, and say, Richie, what do you think about it? Let's do this. We are now involving the public in the decision making. Listen, it's your community. You know what is happening in your community more than I do. You understand more than you understand the culture of your community. And so when we speak with you, and when we have the town hall meetings or the walkthroughs and the engagement, we are hearing from you, but we're not only hearing the problems, we are inviting recommendations and solutions as well. What we do, we take that, we go back to look at it, and those that we could implement immediately we do, and but we really would look at it very carefully and see how best we can implement it, because after all, if you have community satisfaction, then your work become easy. Right. I could lie down and sleep and I do expecting a phone call every minute. All right. Yes.
A key concern maybe from communities, you would say in relation to community policing, is the problem of confidentiality. that is a key concern for most communities in terms of, as you mentioned a while ago, no, you don't want to be someone who is snitching and all stuff like that. But sometimes it's a bit of a deterrence of people within the community in terms of the confidentiality aspect of it. Are we going to see an improvement in that this year that would allow folks to feel free to call the police and speak about issues that they see within the community? When you have the community engagements, feel free when you spoke about the town halls and so forth, and folks would not be scared to say, well, come to the town hall meeting. Okay, folks just wouldn't attend to that because they say, well, I see you with the police already. So, I mean, in local conversation, I see you having conversation with the police. So these aspects of the community of the talk. So confidentiality is a key component of this in terms of folks wanting to engage with the police. And
I happy you brought that up because that is something we are really taking on board very, very seriously. In fact, that we would have asked persons to give information, anonymous information, just anonymously. If the information, but sometimes we have to explain this because being on the street and walking the streets and speaking with people, there are times you have to explain to them the difference in what we deem somebody, has broken your trust in terms of the confidentiality or not.
Yeah.
For example, I remember I was in a particular committee one time and the same thing came up. And I asked the individual, I say, did you make a report? They told me yes. I said, what the report was about and what did you want? They said the report was so and so, and I wanted a warning. As well as obviously, if you want a warning, we have to get to the individual and say, we understand.
But it must be said who you want to warn against.
So we need to clarify that. But in the times where there is a serious problem where they were not supposed to be like that, the confidence is arise.
Yes.
We're asking person because one of the things about community policing, we ask person to compliment but also complain.
Yes.
So if you have a good experience with the police or police station, tell the public, I've been there, and it builds even their own police confidence and better help them in their approach.
Mm-hmm.
But also when you have a bad experience, we expect you to let us know. And as I always say to people, somebody outside may not want me to do that, but if you don't know the person's name, they don't want to tell you the name, check their number.
Yeah.
Tell us the number. So we know who you engage with, the experience you had, so we can call in that person and correct that issue.
Yes.
This is not an excuse, but we are human beings and everybody's not, no matter what you do, somebody will not follow some rules sometimes.
Yes.
And then the other aspect to it, sometimes you have to understand that as human beings, we have our own stresses, our own demons dealing with.
Police are human too, right?
So you might come in and sometimes a person reacts to you, not wanting to react to you that way. So it also gives us an opportunity to find out where that officer is, what has been happening with him or her.
Yes.
Because it might be a problem that allow them to do that we can help address that problem and in so correcting, see, you keep talking about root issues, so we can correct not just him, but the issue he has having, so he can be a better officer tomorrow. Right. But we're asking the public, please, let us know. We have a department that deals with those investigations. They would take statements, just as you invest in any criminal matter. And when they're finished, they send the findings up to the executive headquarters. We look at it and we determine whether the person must be disciplined, whether they must be counseled, whatever the solution for the corrective measures are, we would do that with them to make sure that it become better.
And that certainly will help improve that relationship that you're looking for with the community and the police. Of course, SB Desmond, Richards, it's time for us to take a break, and this time we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch it down.
St. John's Christian Secondary School 60th anniversary, January 12th to the 19th, 2025. Celebrating 60 years of excellence through God's grace and guidance. Calling all alumni. Come out and celebrate with us. Here's the calendar of events. On Sunday, January 12th, church service at the school auditorium from 9:30 a.m. Wednesday, January 15th, meet and greet at Belmont Estate 3:30 p.m. Thursday, January 16th, health fair at the school from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Friday, 17th January, chapel day, open forum at 10 a.m., open house at 11 a.m. Sunday, January 19th, gala at the Trade Center from 7 p.m.
For 30 years, we've been driven by a commitment to our customers and to continuously improving our standards of quality.
Through every success and challenge, your support remains unwavering.
That loyalty has inspired us to listen, learn, and return with a renewed commitment.
We've taken important steps to ensure that your health and safety remain top priority.
And each bottle is a reflection of our promise to deliver the highest standards of quality.
As we move forward, we want to thank you for always standing by us.
We are honored and extremely grateful to be back. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And cheers to 30 more years.
Welcome back, folks. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Let me say good morning to those of you via our social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. Wherever you're listening and viewing us from around the world, good morning, and thanks for being with us this morning. Of course, we're talking community policing this morning, and of course, we have with us this morning the, community policing coordinator. That's ASP, of course, Desmond Richard with us this morning. And the conversation is the kind of conversation I know lots of Grenadians would certainly like to be part of and talk to. Because everybody wants to make sure that the community that they live in is safe.
Certainly.
You may not be 100% free of crime, you understand, but you would like to have it as minimal as possible. There's always going to be somebody in your community who will give a little trouble. There's always going to be someone giving a little trouble.
Not just that, you know? With the social media, and of course, as I said, the influence of the outside gangs, and you know, I mean, somebody even the songs, but the songs they're listening to, and how is it impacting? Because let me tell you something. Anything you listen for too long, it impacts your behavior.
Yes.
You begin to sap.
You listen to a slow music for some reason. You feel a tendency for love, right?
You know, so all these things, you know, we look at and we address in a kind of nice way. You know, not making people feel guilty about what their likes may be, but you know, sometimes you pose certain questions, you know, to make them realize, boy, what that is really doing to me in truth, you know, because sometimes we do things, we like it, but never take in consideration
that impact in the long run.
Impact in the long run, and so it's critical that we know that. In fact, even as you and this, I want to just, you know, tell the public, you know, how they can assist the police in that way.
So true.
You know, as I said before, we need the public, and just as the public may think they need us, and as a police, you realize, especially they used to tell us that early, but nowadays you have to know everything, because you have to investigate whether it's banks, whether it's, you know, so much. So you have to know, but the public can volunteer to assist in that. We have the Citizenry Advisory Body that is a group that people that volunteer from across sections of career and knowledge and, you know, experiences that is on board, that we have in every division, and every station should have really what we call the cabs. And of course, you can just walk into the station and say, you know, I heard the officer on the station, and I want to be a part of the cab. I want to be a part of the neighborhood watch, you know, and tell me how that is happening. And of course, you know, and you could even walk in the organization, how can I help? I want to help. And I show that one of the officers, they will let you know how you can help in terms of joining one of the organization. Or even when we have in the community walks, you walk with us. Because what that does, and that is something we are actually doing, we'll be doing this CGD. Normally when we had the community walkthroughs and the engagements, it would just be police officers from various departments.
Yes.
CID, the regular, fire, what have you. Because, the subject of different aspects of policing, we engage it as well. But this year we are broadening that. We're asking like social development and, counselors and probation, so the stakeholders who work with us.
Even people within the community that has a certain
church,
exactly.
Because you have spiritual needs, you have social needs, and so the police can answer all the questions. So the conversation on the ground will be broadened. So based on what you meet and what are the concerns, you have somebody there with the expertise that can answer and relate to that matter. And so that is something we are very, very, very keen on doing, because as I said before, one of the things in law enforcement and what you look for is trends. What is happening around you? Old people used to say, when your neighbor house is on fire, what's yours?
Yes.
So you look at what's happening in the region and how it can impact you. When you have a problem in Trinidad and St. Vincent, where guys want to run and for safety, where do you go? But when you get there, what happens? So, and do you settle? Do you just hide and become a good citizen? After a while, you take wrong and you start your own old criminal work again. Mm-hmm. So these are things. So, and so when you're on board, you help also to identify issues within the community. You identify, as I say before, strangers or people that you're not used to, and you just alert us, and so there are many ways you can do that. I talk about the complaining and the compliment again, where this, and of course we have again participating in the Neighborhood Watch, participating in police initiatives. So if we had the Western Division had a nice funding for give talks to over 200 plus kids, and had conversation with them and the parents as well. You joining in whatever initiative you hear the police is initiating, so that the public does not see it softens to the tone of the law enforcement and the authority and all these things, and give people a sense of appreciation of themselves and the environment in which they are, and seeing other person collaborating with the police, they realize it's not as so bad as we think.
Breaking the stigma is also critical in terms of community, especially when it comes to the younger individuals in the community.
It's not us against them. It's all of us.
They always feel, well, I don't want to talk to the police. I don't want to have anything to the police. After not having any major issues with the police, but somehow that stigma develops where I don't want to have anything to do with the police because if I hear from what a friend may have, the experience of a friend, or you may hear of a friend being on social media, you see incidents with police. Sometimes it's not even locally. When you watch incidents that happen around the world, engagement with police with other people, and you feel, for some reason, you may have that same problem.
That is it.
So breaking that stigma with the community and police is important. What are some of those plans, I would say, for 2025 from the community, from of course the community police department now, in terms of breaking that stigma, getting into the mindset of the younger folks? Because I think that's where the challenge may be for this particular community police, getting into the minds of the younger individuals out there. I mean, the folks who are the adults and so forth out there, they may have really gone through their time, may not be having a problem, and I'll say there isn't, but the younger folks out there are maybe that key, the key section of the community that you may want to get into conversation with. And breaking that stigma of not wanting to interact with the police is critical, I would say, to a point.
Of course, and again, we know that our nation is a very youthful nation.
Exactly.
Very youthful population. And so that's why I said earlier, and we are not just now speaking with the schools and the principals in secondary schools, but we are gone down to the kindergarten.
Yeah.
We are building that bridge early, so that, as I said before, making them get used to being in the environment, the same environment, the same atmosphere of the police, and realizing, but that police is a father, even though he's a police.
Yes.
That police is a mother, even though she's a police, or aunt, or a nephew, or a niece. Yeah. You see, so you want to have a conversation, even around a kind of more family kind of a dialogue.
And breaking the conversation down to the level of the individuals that you're speaking to also.
That's it. And helping them to see, actions now result in consequences later.
Yeah.
Would these consequences be a good one or a bad one? And if it's a bad one, what can we do to make sure that we change direction, we change attitude, we change our method of operation or what we do, so that at the end of the day, we are not seen as, as a no-good, as a this and that, but we can be very blessed contributors of our society. So so that's why one of the areas in terms of how we can help is that we encourage parents to let your kids be involved.
Yeah.
Let your kids be involved. In fact, again, for part of our drive last year, which is going to continue and building out into other schools, we had some schools from St. John's. We collaborated with the school, with the prison, and we took them to the prison to see the environment up there, and we had prisoners, even former police officers who are now in prison serving time, had conversations with them about their own life, how they got the life in the prison. So you leave them to determine, do I really want to forfeit my freedom and come here to go and to provide to tell me when to go in a cell, when to be, when to this, So we had that. So that's the length at which we are going, JT, to ensure that we, from the police side, commission right down to the least in police, whether it's the RC or the person working with us. That's how far we are going to ensure that we our nation, for all of our sakes, remain safe and secure. And again, knowing that tourism is what
drive this particular economy when you're 12 points.
I want to also say, although tourism might be everybody's business, community policing is everybody's business as well. You see? Because without that, tourism will flop. It's a fragile commodity.
Because they work hand in hand, technically. Because a country that has proper policing practices and where the community abides with the decision made by the police makes it easier for someone visiting. A sense of safety is always.
But I can tell you this: when tourists want to travel, there are websites they go and check out the
stats of the country.
First thing they will check out is the security stats of the station. How safe that country is. I remember when we were looking at it 40 years ago, one of the questions that used to be regularly asked by tourists, how come we are not seeing officers with guns? And at that time I was proud to tell them, because we don't have the level of crime that allows us to have to, carry guns everywhere.
Yes.
And some of them was amazed. In fact, one asked me one time, he said he's retiring and he wants to, somewhere in the region Caribbean, he wants to buy up some land and, come and just retire. And if not, if you can get here, where? And I remember at that time I was proud to say, well, Grenada is the first option. But if you don't get at that time, St. Lucia was, I said St. Lucia, But that's how much, persons from out there wants to ensure that wherever they go, especially when you're coming from a place where you're not sure if you're going to be a gun here and a violence and a robbery here.
It's a bit of a deterrent.
So the safer your nation is the more positives for economic development and for growth. But when crime exists, watch what happens. Government have to spend more monies when less is coming in. Because now you have to feed prisoners, you have to have monies and all set of programs for social programs and money. And these are not systems that brings in money.
Yeah.
They take money.
So true.
But without that, you have more coming in. So you see a more developed nation because you have more money not spending in crime. But no in development. So everybody should be happy to want to make sure that the countries remain safe.
So true. Now, to our listeners and viewers out there, if you do have a question or two, you may like to ask, of course, ASP Desmond Richards this morning as relates to community policing, the theme of our conversation this morning. Feel free to do so. 435-2041, and we have approximately 15 minutes or so left on this morning's program. So feel free to give us that call once again, and let's hear from you. We're going to take some calls from our listeners. I'm sure there are, of course, aspects of the conversation they may like to ask a question or two as it relates to that. Caller, good morning, you're live. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir.
Greetings, and greetings to your guest, Mr. Richards. By the way, is this gentleman right alongside you, or he's on the digital?
No, he's right alongside me.
Hallelujah, so I'm confident he can hear me, can't he?
Yes, he can.
I'm hearing you.
Hallelujah, good morning, sir. Listen, a lot of things you say there, they're all true, Mr. Richards. I'm hearing it from you. It's coming from your heart. But it's a state of deja vu. We were here already last year, the year before, and so on, but we're not getting better, Mr. Richards. Does it ever appeal to you why we're not getting better? Nothing is bettering. The same lack of confidence in the police and all of that. The same suffering that certain people in this here country. I wanted to come straight to the point. Sunday I was lying on my bed and I smelled quote unquote shit. And I say it as it is, as raw as it is. It struck me. I smell very well, too much as a matter of fact. I called a friend to look around the house. There were 2 plugs sitting there right on the ground there, still behind my house. Evil, pure evil. Jabism is causing that the demonic forces that they've raised up and beckoned to this country. No, you can't stop that. You can't change that. But I'm certain that with certain actions, you can mitigate it. If in fact all that you talk about community policing and otherwise and getting the greater confidence of the people in the police, we can help to mitigate these things. We're going the wrong way. Therefore, I'm urging you as a senior police officer and as a common citizen of this here country to join me in the call to reconstitute this nation under the laws which been working for 50 years plus to change. We're not making any difference. I repeat, I'm just asking the police to come and see this and see what they can do to say, I can't walk out of my own place of abode. And I don't know how many other people in this area, but probably they're ashamed to talk about it, but I have to talk about it because I am blind. And it has to be evil to do this. I call on the police for protection. Thank you very much for what it's worth. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
I just want to thank you for that call, and I want to assure you that, in fact, with the new administration now, in fact, only last week, this week, rather, Monday, we had a meeting, and we were looking at some of the areas within the police force themselves that can impede or hinder the growth of community policing, and we look at a few things that we are putting in place to address, and I can let you know this. I am one person, yes, but it's one person like Martin Luther that made a huge difference, and I can assure you from my perspective, I would be monitoring, or I'll be looking, that's my role, to see how the police is doing, what they are doing, the quality of what they are producing, and whether or not it fits what we're really looking for within the community, and put system in place to address all these. Change take time, and we realize for some time we may have had this a lull in certain behaviors and actions that should have happened, but I can guarantee you that we have looked at it, and we are putting measures in place now to adequately deal with those situations. I remember there are certain, I can't mention it here, there are certain things that were not dealt with. We looked at that from former persons, senior persons, and we decided, no, we can't go forward like that. So I can assure you that you will see a difference, maybe not immediately, but you will see a difference, because we are putting systems in place to ensure that every officer who breach one of the protocols or the standards that in which they should operate will be called in, will be questioned, will be investigated, and will be dealt with accordingly. And they will know that this is not just a slap on the wrist anymore. This is critical so that this force can maintain the integrity that is so high, it must maintain.
Okay, great. We have another caller. Caller, you're live. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, and kudos to the police but I have a problem. Sir, and I've been dealing with this problem for a long time. I'm speaking to the officer directly. I went to the Assistant Commissioner of Police and I had an audience with him. This is me. I've been assaulted 4 times. And the other time was 5 times. And I took this gentleman to court 5 times. And I won him 5 times in the court. That was St. David's Magistrate Court. He refused to pay the compensation. He refused to pay the court. The magistrate issued a committal warrant for his arrest. Now, this gentleman is walking around St. George's, giving me the middle finger and making gesturing threats to me that he want to slit my throat. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This man has a committal warrant, and this man is walking around St. George's free. He's driving up and down the road. When he see me, he's grinning and laughing at me. He wouldn't threaten me, but he's making threatening gestures. You know what I'm saying? And I went to the Assistant Commissioner of Police. That he sent me up to talk to the senior officer in St. David's. And when I got there, that senior officer was either in his office or he had left. He was expecting me. I went back to that police station 5 times. I went to the magistrate office. The clerk told me the magistrate is done with the case. Is the duty of the police to arrest the man and put him in prison? And they wouldn't do it. And this man is harassing me and threatening me. What should I do, officer? I want to hear it from you.
Is it a police officer or a civilian?
The one that has assaulted me was a civilian.
A civilian?
Yes.
Yes. And he has a committal warrant for his arrest. And I went to the assistant commissioner of police at the Fort George, and I spoke to him. He sent me up to see the senior officer in St. David's. And when I got there, the senior officer refused. Is either he had left, or he was in his office and he refused to. Just 3 weeks ago, I was back up there and I talked to a corporal. I can't remember his name. He told me he was going to get back with me. He never did.
Oh, see, and that's
he never did.
And so that's why we're saying that please, when you do that, then we should know that. But I would ask of you, please, if you can have a conversation.
I went to the community relations office in St. George's also.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what to do again. Something is going to happen. He said, "Man, meet me and assault me again." And I'm 75 years old.
So I need to. Well, can you? I can give you my number. We can have a conversation after, and I can look into it for you.
And I think I'm viewing the caller's number here. So
right,
after the
right. So
after the game, we get that.
So I'll certainly give you a call. We'll have that conversation, and let me see what I can do for you.
You know, I want the world to know, and I want Grenada to know. There's some good police officers, and then there's some that will not do their job. I'm going to say it right now. This gentleman has a warrant, a summons to receive to go to attend an inquest into the death of this lady in Mardi Gras up here. And they can't find this man to give him the summons so he could go attend the inquest because he's hiding from the police. The inquest cannot go forward without this gentleman. And this gentleman is walking around. And if the police can, as the assistant commissioner told me, if the St. David's police can't find this gentleman, ask the RRU or the SSU to assist them. He told me so. So get some help and arrest this man.
Because your system's in place.
The magistrate has the committal warrant signed already. I know that.
Right. So I'll have the conversation with you and assist in that regard.
Please call me back. That's my number right here. Now I'll entertain the conversation. Thank you very much, sir.
Certainly,
have a blessed day.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
caller. Thank you so much. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning, you're live.
Morning, GT, and morning to the officer.
Good morning.
These conversations are very helpful. In fact, it helps to release ambiguity and also some level of ignorance. I was very intrigued by or encouraged by some of the questions the police your guest was asking. For instance, what kind of society we want to create? And I've been asking those questions even on this area over the years. You know, because we promote economic growth and all of that kind of stuff. But we don't promote the healing of the society. Our society has been traumatized through different periods, and we have not attended to that. So a lot of the fallouts are because we're not doing the work we're supposed to do. I've been also lately been promoting the concept of community-led development, not economic growth-led development, if we should call it that, community-led. That would help us even in the sort of preparation for disaster and all of that. And we also have to help people to understand the police function is to act as a partner, in partnership with the community, with the rest of the society. I've noticed, folks, when I used to be more mobile, people want the aid of the police. But when they are in, like for instance, buses are overcrowded and the police come to intercept, it's what they wouldn't say. Or even when the police have approached and apparently, those who contravene the law, people are quick to condemn the police. And as it said earlier, the police is us. We are the police. They're our children, our brothers, our sisters. So and I think it's part of the experience we had, trauma, where we had authority figures from childhood, where maybe either a father was brutal to us or a mother and so on. So we have this kind of stuff towards authority. But authorities are more important for the stability of the country. Otherwise, and then we have to be consistent. People would shelter others because either they're related to them or they are their friends. When they know those people are involved in criminal activity. Years ago, I used to warn that we may end up with Lavantil and Mova, and it seems as though we are heading to that. Hopefully, we could stem it. And finally, there's something I want to say in terms of, I think if there could be, one of the things that could be helpful is that if there is more, and it was touched earlier on, the whole issue of trust. There's a lack of trust toward the society. Almost nobody trusts one another. It's not just the police. We need to really cultivate that. I know what I'm going to say. As somebody who have trained in conflict resolution, I've been promoting that again. We need to do more of that conflict resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And of course, the lines are still open. We still have a few more minutes before we wrap this morning. There's a comment here from someone via the Facebook page, and I read it out this morning. Maybe I could get your views on it. Now, the community members must have confidence in the police, and they will make a good faith effort to protect and serve. They fail to do so and show bias and prejudice. They fail to follow up on requests or help, and they dismiss and insult people who seek help as being a nuisance. This is disappointing to see in this community, and of course deters people from seeking and helping, engaging in vigilant, I should say, remedies. I guess you understand what the person is saying.
Certainly. And the person has a point. Of course, as we discussed earlier, and if I don't have confidence in you, GT, I wouldn't share anything with you.
Sure.
And if my intonation and my volume and my voice pitch when you come to me with your genuine concerns sounds like if I'm not caring, I don't even want to hear. I'm just here because they send me, those kind of attitude. It will turn people off.
Yeah.
And so hence the reason why we are, when I trained, I never knew about soft skills.
Yeah.
While I was in training, I think either he was the chief instructor or something like that. We introduced soft skills. That has now become part of the curriculum because, as I said earlier on, customer service is big for us. It's unfortunate that sometimes not all of us, we have the knowledge, but we do not put it into practice. And so that's why we are now we have not put a system in place where the public, please, if you cannot speak to your division or your station, but there are division officers in every division. A division officer is in that Mr. Gill is in Guelph, Western Division. Mr. Thomas is in Grenville. You have Mr. George and you have other departments, even CRD and the other person, even on the fort you can come to. I could even call me. So when you have those experiences, and let us know. And please, as I keep saying again, if the person won't give you the name and they have a uniform and they have a number, take some description that we will know who it is.
Okay.
And we will call them in and have a conversation.
We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'm following up on what you just read there, GT. This is very true. The people in the community must trust to go to the police and know that they will have empathy, they will listen fairly, and investigate, make a good faith effort in truth to investigate whatever matter is in front of them and come back and get a feedback. A lot of the police officers are discouraging due process right at the police station, and they have to realize they are not lawyers. You have to take the information, investigate it. If it gets to the point of where legal decisions have to be made, you refer it on to the lawyers. But right there at the police station, you come in and they dismiss you and they try to give you a judgment right there as to if you have a case. If you don't have a case, they're making you feel like you disturbing them from digging. I went to the police station the other day and they sit down with a big box of KFC, digging into the KFC right in the station. And the lady come out with she greasy KFC hand to write down the information, and she hand greasy. And this is unprofessional. It gives the community the impression of unprofessionalism and lack of attention to your job. If you walk in there and the station smelling at KFC, you're busy eating KFC, your hand greasy with the aisle, and then you acting as though you come and you interfere with us, laughing and talking all kind of inappropriate things and enjoying research with the KFC, and you come in here, what do you want? And they look at you like, what do you want? You're disturbing us. And no matter what you tell them at that moment, they are adversary to you because you interfere with them, and they're finding a way to dismiss you, making you feel like you is a nuisance and that you're disturbing them, and they do not look after the community. And when you behave like this, people don't trust you. They don't come into they're doing the vigilante. They're taking out things and trying to find remedies and doing all kind of crime on their own because the police is not following up and helping them, and that is increasing more crime. Because if the police don't doing it and the police don't helping, then they go help themselves and take care of the crime themselves. Police have to stop it. You are there to help, to be a friend in the community. Stop sitting down in the police station eating KFC, talking nonsense, foot cock up in the air, and juking your phone. You walk into the police station, all of them juking their phone. Check St. Paul's police station. Check them, they're juking phone. And when you reach a vet because you interfere with them juking their phone. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Ask you which station you had that experience with. So thank you for mentioning that. And thank you for your comments. I've certainly heard you. And of course, we have meetings with as the executive, have meeting with the divisions and the stations on a regular basis. That is something that will surely come up. And of course, we are going to looking at the persons who are in charge as well. What are they doing to ensure that the station is customer friendly? And I want to say this, and thank you for that again. While our name is the Royal Grenadier Police Force, I have one person that don't like the force behind it.
Yeah,
we are a serving organization. That is what we paid to do, to serve. For me, it's a pleasure to always serve. But of course, as we say earlier on, you always find somebody out of sync. It's like crime. Just a minority that is criminals we have, but they make big impact.
Yes.
And so one officer not doing what they're supposed to do can create a big impact. So thank you for that. We are going to look into that again, and I'm not just saying that with words. Trust me, when I tell you I'll look into it, I will look into it.
All right.
To correct those issues.
We may take just our final call and we get some closing contribution from you. Final caller for the morning. You're welcome, caller. Good morning. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, caller. Go right ahead, please.
Okay, I want to say that I think the St. David's police station needs to be reviewed. Anytime you call them to make a complaint, they don't really take it seriously. For example, for a few months now, we have a sign up in Corinth saying that you will be shot, and they have not done anything about it. It's still up on the telephone post. And when you call them, they know about the sign because a lot of people have reported it, but they haven't done anything to rectify the problem. Anytime we have problems in St. David's and you call that police station, they have a lot of attitude. And I think as a St. David's person, I don't trust the St. David's police officers. I don't think they necessarily do their job appropriately. And that's what I have to say.
Caller, thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And of course, sometimes you hear the stories of what the civilians out there are saying on some of the complaints that they are making. Sometimes it's a bit of a mind-boggling for you. Of course, SP Desmond Richards is with us this morning. Any closing contribution this morning before we take a wrap? Our conversation this one was fruitful as relates to community policing. Of course, you've heard from some of the callers their complaints of what they've been receiving. Of course, from the police themselves. And as you mentioned, it's something that you're going to look into.
Certainly. But let me first of all thank the entire public for having us and having me, and for again your support over the last few years, in particular last year. We have seen some greater involvement. We have seen some improvement in even the police going out there and relating. Of course, when you're weeding a garden, you can't weed out, you're not able to weed out all the weed at the same time. But let me re-emphasize that we have taken a decision, even from the executive level, to pay more attention to what happens in the divisions and the stations by visiting, examining the books, examining, what they're doing, having dialogues. And in fact, as we speak, I am now preparing a survey form that every division will have, every department will have, and so that as we go, the civilian answer the question. We want to know how the civilian feel, what is happening in their minds in terms of the police engagement with them and the service that we provide. As I said before, it's one thing to say we're working hard. We can say that, but if it's not coming from the public, it means that we're not doing something right. Yeah. And so we are hoping that when that comes out, as many of it reach, we can answer, positively. and honestly, and so that we can see make a judgment and see what other subject areas or what other areas we have to correct within the system so that the public can feel satisfied. So once again, thank you so much. I would plead, as I should say, with the public to really, in spite of the little pitfalls here and there, nobody has a perfect system. Please collaborate with us so that we can keep Grenada safe and avoid what is happening within the nations around us. And we don't have to be hiding in our homes and afraid to send our children to school or in the shop because we don't know where they would be at what time and who will be there and even got shot or injured innocently. So God bless Grenada. Happy New Year to the whole of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And of course, you're going to be hearing from us again. And as we come out to have the town hall, the police consultation, our town hall meetings that is called, we ask you to participate, come out, share all of your concerns. Don't just stay home, share the concerns, critique us well, but also give us recommendations and solutions that we can take on board. God bless you again. Thank you, JT, and thank you for having us.
Thank you also, of course, SP Desmond Richards. I want to thank you a whole lot this morning. And despite all the comments we hear and all the situation we hear about Grenada, it's still a very safe place to be. Very safe place to be. I want to thank you once again for being on the program. Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Join me again tomorrow being Friday, our final edition for the week. Have yourself a good one, folks. That's what we say. Goodbye.